quarter of the season has passed, Taylor Swift is in the spotlight, and we grade the Chiefs after 4 weeks of football. All that right after this.
Get ready, Chiefs Kingdom, to unleash your passion and excitement for all Chiefs content. With the up-and-coming sports media company giving you all of the Chiefs coverage. We are raising the decibels and embracing the community of Chiefs Kingdom. Elevate your fandom and join our team who loves your team. Red Kingdom Media.
Woo! Welcome, everybody, once again to an episode of the Home of the Chiefs podcast, where the Chiefs are our home. First off, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, feeling great.
How is the, we'll get into deeper discussion here, but just overall summation, how is the first month of NFL / technically fall, but I know it
doesn't feel like
season
it.
isn't there, but you've claimed it that time as soon as we reached here. So how are you feeling overall about things?
I'm feeling good. The Chiefs are in the spotlight. Kansas City's in the spotlight. Like, it's crazy. It's amazing how we're living in this city, and it's just becoming more and more like the hub of the Midwest, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we'll go into the deeper discussion as to why you're probably coming from that vantage point. But yeah, I think my just general overall feelings about the team is they're a little like the offense seems more sluggish at the start of a season than we've seen in past seasons. And then the defense, knock on wood, the first has looked really good at times where the defense has taken a while to look good under this regime. So I think that's just my overall general impression is just like that kind of complete swap of the offense trying to find themselves and the defense like being really confident in the way they play.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of newness on the offense too. Like there's some like tried and true old and what we know best, and then there's some new. So they're just trying to adjust to the new and trying to get them like in sync with the older veterans. And it's just, I think we've seen that happen the last couple of games especially.
Right. Yeah. So we're gonna break down each of the games that have transpired since our last episode, the Jags, Bears, and the Jets. And we're also going to bring you into the world of season ticket membership and fill you in on some details on the season ticket member countdown tent that we attended for the Bears game, the last home game. And then, as you can tell by Shannon's enthusiasm, she's going to give you some Taylor Swift facts, or at least give
facts. I'm not that big of a fan.
She's going to give a perspective that a lot of us who would be listening to something like this don't come from. So just to see if the impact has really been felt, or maybe it's just the narrative that's been tossed around.
Yeah.
And then lastly, we're going to essentially give our overall impressions to the offense, the defense, and kind of tell you who the players we're excited about and who've already shown themselves and are going to be the exciting players to watch the rest of the season. So before we dive into the Jags, I just want to ask you all to please follow and subscribe to our channels and our accounts on all the major social media platforms. Follow us on YouTube and Spotify and Twitch and wherever else you like to consume your podcast. And if you're watching or plan to watch, please give us a like and comment, and please share it with someone you love and care about, and let them know you cared about this as much as we care about the Chiefs and delivering this content to you. Transition. So we just survived the Jags. That was a noon away game, 12 o'clock. The game that we ended the last episode getting towards.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a 17-9 victory where, the offense looked very sluggish. Lots of penalties,
Yeah.
which we'll see continue during the rest of this this podcast and what we've seen over the last weeks following week 2 as well. But Mahomes looked off in that game, and we've seen that sort of continue except for the Bears game when it seemed like anybody could do well except for Blaine Gabbert, who had 2 interceptions from that.
Yeah.
But the Jags, my overall impression was just that the defense was winning in that game, and they made several whatever you want to call them, forced incompletions by pushing the receiver out of the end zone, so he's not able to get both feet in bounds for it to be a touchdown. Chris Jones, that was his first game back, and we were questioning how he was going to be.
He actually did pretty well.
That first game, he pretty much came back and was his normal form.
Yeah.
Felt his presence and very glad to have him back.
Yes.
We saw the New Heights episode. And you can tell that Chris was dying to be back.
Oh yeah.
He mentioned that he watched that game at home on Thursday and lost against the Lions and said, "I want to be back." So,
oh yeah, definitely.
He's getting back in the good graces of the team. Not that I ever thought that he was becoming a pariah or a villain or anything like that, but I saw him do like a promotional thing for Chiefs Pro Shop and stuff that. So he's still dedicated, and his energy was missed.
Yeah, definitely.
The defense was showing themselves as like not quote needing Chris Jones, but it still wanted him because you want all those X factors.
He brings something special to the defense that you miss it when it's not there.
Him being on the field just helps everybody else around him too. It's giving Furious George some sacks. It's getting Mike Dana sacks during a contract year. Me and Dale had some conversations saying, "Oh, I think he might get 10 sacks." I'm like, 10 sacks? Well, if Chris Jones continues to, just come up a hair short on the actual sack, then it might be Mike Dana's to clean up.
Yeah,
we've seen a lot of sacks so far, and that game was a good indication of what was to come. The secondary played really well in that game. That was Travis Kelce's first game back from injury.
Oh, it was, yeah.
He seemed very gassed. It was like 120 degrees on the field.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Like hundreds of people were hospitalized because of the heat.
Yeah, because what's his name got dehydrated. I can't remember who that was.
But it can happen, and that wasn't like the best environment.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, yeah, it's Florida too. So.
Do you have any like overall takeaways from that game?
Honestly, like it wasn't a super memorable game. I feel like I remember like a few things that went on, but it was just like one of those games, like go out there, beat them, on to the next. Like it was like a game where, like you said, like it was Travis Kelce's first game back. I think that's really the only thing that I remember, honestly, is watching him and like Chris Jones and basically like all the new guys too, watching them and seeing what they do.
Right. Yeah, it was a defensive showcasing, and we'll go into more performances towards these later games, especially this Jets game that we get to.
Yeah.
But that was my impression as well, just that the offense was carrying the defense was carrying that game, and the offense made mistakes. There was some fumbles.
Yeah, they're yeah.
Patrick Mahomes threw an interception in that
Yeah,
game.
that's right. I didn't want to remember that.
So he was feeling off, and as a recording, the Chiefs just had their most recent press conference prior to facing the Vikings, and against the Jets, Mahomes said he wasn't quite feeling himself. So even so, he can admit when he's like not himself or
he's
making
like
mistakes. And also today, Andy said that he's happy with the wide receivers, with their production. I think a lot of us would say I would fairly disagree.
Yeah,
but they seem pretty firm
on their stance
on that.
them.
So that's about all we got to mention about the Jags. So let's go ahead and pivot to the bashing of the Bears. A 41-10 win, and the last 10 points occurred when you and I weren't at the stadium
Yeah, that's
inside
right.
the stadium anymore. 3 of those points came when we were in the parking lot, and I was laughing at how they were kicking a field goal down 41-0.
Yeah, that's right.
But the Bears would go outdo themselves by blowing their lead to the Broncos a week later. But it was a fun game to watch. It was a great atmosphere. And then we'll talk more about her in her own segment. But that was oh my God, Taylor Swift is here.
Yeah, it was crazy, like, thinking that you're in the same building with her, but, like, knowing that she's just a person, too. But the people who had the seats directly underneath where she was in the suite, wherever that was, they were really lucky because they got to, like, videotape her the whole entire time.
And it seems like it might start a thing of people going to Taylor Swift's site. It's like not even.
Yeah.
It's like, see if that ruins the markup on tickets for everybody else.
Yeah. I don't know. Interesting.
So, yeah, the offense came back this game, and it was really a running back showcase. And then Travis Kelce had his a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone had sort of their kind of play, but Rashee Rice was down at the 1 yard line twice.
Yeah.
It's like he could not get lucky enough to cross that invisible glass pane to score. But the running backs did a lot of the heavy lifting, and that's going to be a trend into the following game as well. But how were you feeling during that game and impressions after the fact?
I was feeling pretty good. It was a good game, and I feel like they did a lot better than the previous game, and they were getting like a lot more hang of things and what they're going to do and their plays and everything. I feel like they made a lot better decisions with that too.
And I think the question is, does that come down to the team being so good or that the Bears were so bad?
Yeah.
And
true.
When we're ready to pivot to the Jets game, that same rhetoric was, pretty much the whole conversation. And then Zach Wilson showed us that we're wrong and give people a second chance.
Yeah.
So, but yes, the defense did well because this was a team that they could do well against. Chris Jones still did his thing. The secondary was playing very well.
Mm-hmm.
Travis Kelce got to feel it out a little bit.
Yeah.
Didn't have to do too much. He had a little bit more help in this game. But yeah, overall, it wasn't a good. It was a good, it was a get right game, as they call it, or a feel good game. But
yeah,
it wasn't a show us who we are.
Yeah,
It didn't tell us anything notable about the Chiefs because they've played a good teams and now bad team, or a middle ground team like the Jags.
Yeah, middle tier.
So we need to see the offense get figured out, several parts of it to figure out to make this run smoothly, because I've talked, believe and hope that the defense can be really good for long periods of time. But I also am a realist, and I know every once in a while they still we'll talk about it, but Zach Wilson proved it. Sometimes a good throw is a good throw.
Yeah.
And you can't beat it.
You can't.
You can't. If it's the perfect ball in the perfect place and the guy is there, Drew Tranquil, with your hand up, you're basically there, but you just can't. It's not his fault.
Yeah.
That is the quarterback doing something that he gets paid all the monies in the league to do.
Mm-hmm.
So don't want to slack them for that. But all that being said, again, it wasn't something to be completely memorable for. We got to feel good about it.
Yeah, it was a feel good game.
But now that we've had this following week to come through, we have our different feelings about that and what it was in retrospect versus what it was at the time.
Yeah, what we were seeing at the time.
But before we transition over to that game and get us ready closer to this coming matchup, we used up some of our points.
Mm-hmm.
And
do you have it?
I do. Cool. So for the audio listeners, I'm holding up the lanyard that they show.
Yeah, looking
that they give you for a season ticket member countdown access.
There we go.
So they just give you a lanyard that you put around your neck so you look all fancy.
Yeah.
But you basically, quote, purchase an entry the way you would anything else on the Kingdom Rewards website app.
The app, yeah, is the easiest way you've done it.
But it costs 5,000 points. But if you're someone who goes to 5 Chiefs games every year, then you make those points up.
And you have to log the points every single time you go to a game, right?
Well,
does it automatically do it, or do you have to do it manually?
So when you are at the game, when you scan your ticket, it basically recognizes that you are at the stadium.
Oh.
So it might glitch sometime and you have to go there and say, I'm going. There's an I'm going and an I'm watching.
Okay.
I'm going means I'm here. When we're watching it from TV, we say I'm watching, and that gives you 500 points.
Gotcha.
So if you can only go to one game a year, you should be a season ticket member, so not flat out. But if you're a season ticket member and you only go to one game a year because you share your stuff, then that would be a good perk to use just because, well, talk about it. What do you like about it?
I like that you get a complimentary drink. They have soda and they have IPAs, and then they have beer, and then they have seltzer. So I got a seltzer. But they have that, and then you go in and then you get in line, this big old line, but once at the end of it, you get food. So waiting in that line is so insane, but
get there early.
You get there early so you have time to wait and then get a table because the tables run out.
Right.
But there's so many people waiting in that line, but once you get up there, there's sandwiches, chips, there's fruit, veggies. I got all of that. And then they have desserts. So they have cookies, brownies. They had a Rice Krispie treat. It was really yummy. And then, I basically just grabbed one of everything. But I love that they have that for us because it's so special. Every year I look forward to that, and it's become a tradition for us now. And then we don't have to sit there starving in the stadium because the food is so expensive. We never want to get the actual food to pay for there.
Or didn't tailgate.
Yeah, or tailgate. Else. So we don't have to sit there starving. We already had our lunch and everything. That was really nice. We ate at 1:30 or something.
Correct. So 3:00, 3:25 kickoff. The gates open at 1:30, and that's exactly when they allow entry into that at the same time.
Yeah, it's so fun.
So get there
It's so
early,
worth it.
get your chance to settle in, cough, make sure to grab some extra stuff while you're at your seat, or slip in
Or
your
like
bag.
us, if you have two people, have somebody go through the line and get the snacks and then come back through the line with the bag.
Yeah,
the
so
clear bag.
they have like sandwiches, fruit, veggie cups, kettle chips.
Mm-hmm. And they have, I think, sometimes they have like real baked desserts, like with the playoff one that we had like a cupcake, a red velvet cupcake with some filling in the center. It was so yummy.
That's right. Yeah. So they will also have a chance for a more fancy version of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then the fancy sandwich they had. But they have like a regular sandwich and a fancy version.
And they'll have guests come through, like cheerleaders will here and there.
Casey Wolf was terrorizing.
He walked through. So you never know what you're gonna see in Arrowhead. So
the cheerleaders are always in there.
I always say get there early, walk around, experience everything. Might not always be the same. Something different might pop up somewhere. So get in, experience, take in the atmosphere, have your fill within the parking lot. And, prepare for all the pregame stuff. Because once you hear the firework, that the game is slowly about to show up, then you get excited and you're in the real thing. Yeah,
and then you go sit down and you got either a drink or a snack or something.
And then it goes through kickoff.
Yeah.
So make sure
it goes through kickoff.
Whatever you want prior to kickoff. And once kickoff, you can't get back.
And you can go back. Like if you want to, you can go back in there and show your thing and be like, hey, can I get another drink? Here you go.
Yeah, for sure. Slip in 30 minutes before they close and make sure you get your snacks while you're sweating it up in Arrowhead, cheering it on.
Yep.
Anything else about that you want to mention?
Just that they have photo ops too. Like they have that little red carpet type of thing that look.
The DJ.
Yeah, they have a DJ. They have pretty much everything fun. So definitely do it sometime if you're a season ticket member.
Definitely, it's definitely worth the points you're gonna spend.
And the waiting in line.
Yeah,
you wait in a line to wait in a line, but then you get food.
So that's our update on that perk. We're definitely gonna utilize some more perks that they have in their rewards section.
Yeah, I want to try and get like a giveaway or something, or you enter like a sweepstakes or something like that.
Yep, lots of signed memorabilia.
Yeah.
A lot of them you have to bid on, but some of them are just random throw at. I bought like some items off there, like the CEH signed photo.
Oh yeah,
they were just selling for points alone.
You just still need to get a frame for that.
So they'll have like random items on there. So if you go on there often, which you should, because they give you points for just logging in and being active on there, they'll update their items every few days or a week. Like some items will be like, oh, we're done here by this date. And then after that date, a new item comes up that will then a week from then end and then repeats itself. But
they're always updating it.
But the thing I was hinting at was the flag holding, the other like pre-game or the free upgrade of the club. I guess I shouldn't say free because they either cost you money or points, but like the club level.
The club level, that would
especially
be fun.
During the cold winter months.
Yeah.
Before the game, so.
We should like try and save up points and do that sometime. That'd be fun.
Yep. Okay. So transition. This last Sunday night game, Chiefs barely squeak out of New Jersey because it's not New York. Sorry, it's New Jersey.
Yeah, poor New Jersey.
But their quarterback played a man possessed like he'd never played before and played better than Mahomes in this matchup. And
Crazy.
parts of it was Mahomes did not look all that
He
spot
didn't look
on.
focused.
And other times it was his receivers were not open or not catching the ball. So what were your thoughts?
He definitely didn't look focused. I feel like this whole, like, we're going to talk about it more, but I feel like the whole Taylor Swift thing is, like, throwing them off.
I disagree. What going on?
You don't think so? Okay. Well, hot take. But yeah, I feel like he didn't play like he was focused. He played like he was like all over the place. He didn't really know who to throw to. He didn't know like how hard to throw. Like he was like throwing passes way over guys' heads, like stuff that like rookies do, and it's like rookie mistakes he was making, and it was crazy watching that. It was so frustrating. It's like, come on, another interception. He threw another interception. He threw it right to the guy. He threw it right to him.
Well,
so
watch the film because it's the player sinking back into a deep zone.
Really?
They look like they're playing man against us. So here's the deal. The Jets played a lot of man defense against the Chiefs in a way the Chiefs were not expecting to have man defense played against them. Their wide receivers could not get open and could not get a catch. Rashee Rice was the only guy who really got any targets, and none of them did anything.
Worked, yeah.
So this is a recurring issue that has happened in the past, even with Tyreek Hill, that man defense is a problem for the Chiefs. Last year, it was if you blitz the Chiefs, you're asking for trouble. Now it's to a point where you look like you're going to play zone, and then you press and you play man, and you force these wide receivers to get open, and they're not getting open.
Yeah.
Or they are, and they're not catching the ball because they're in tight coverage because they can't get open.
They can't.
Travis Kelce's the only guy who can get open, but he's at a point in his career right now, especially after his injury, he can't do that every play. We saw it.
Exactly.
He was gassed. He came out for a play. He was the reason they got into the red zone and then could not complete the drive.
Yeah.
If you're in the red zone, you're saying the ball is going to Travis Kelce. Well, if he's gassed because he had to go all the way down the field, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Or you have to take him off the field for like preparing for the end zone, and then
exactly
you have to make it down the field in the first place for that to be a thing. But yes, it was off, and my concern was that it was partially injury related, and I'm still going to think that's somewhat of a factor, even though he's going to say I was just off.
Yeah.
If he had an injury, I don't think at this point he'd be talking about it much.
Really?
Because no, last season he literally was trying to downplay his freaking injury. No, Andy Reid, I'm not going to go do an x-ray. That's the guy he is.
Yeah.
He's not going to sit out for an injury. We're seeing Joe Burrow struggle on one leg.
Yeah.
Doing the same thing that Patrick Mahomes was doing. And people are saying, why are you putting Joe Burrow in that position? Why are you leaving him out there to just get sacked repeatedly? He can't run away. Y'all, your plays you're running for him aren't getting receivers open, or frankly, Joe Burrow doesn't have the leg strength right now to plant and chuck it deep like Jamar Chase wants. So, yeah. Anyway, this game was running. And if we weren't running the ball, I was pissed that we weren't running the ball some more. So Isaiah Pacheco was the man. And if he wasn't the man, then it was Patrick Mahomes scrambling for his life to get first downs and in the game as well.
Yeah.
So, this was the first game that I actually tried and like keep track of every single thing. The first quarter was beautiful. It was feed the ball to Kelce, run the ball some. Ooh, throw to Noah Gray. No one's expecting that. Whoa, touchdown. Here's a Travis Kelce catch. Here's a Travis Kelce catch. Here's a Travis Kelce catch.
Yeah.
Oh, here, let's run a jet sweep with Sky Moore. Let's throw it short to Justin Watson. Like these Rashee Rice, try to find him a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
It was like making an effort to try to spread the ball around, and then when they weren't able to do that passing, and Kelsey either wasn't able to be on the field or he was just getting beat up or double teamed and wasn't able to be found in the play. It was crickets.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody could do anything. At a time when the only thing we should have been doing was running the ball, we were still attempting to throw it, and we saw Mahomes force it. So I'm hoping that we can avoid situations like this. I know Mahomes always feels like he's got to be the guy, impress and showcase why he's the best. But I think we're at a period of time right now while the wide receivers are trying to figure their stuff out. Yeah. I think we need to be a run-heavy offense.
Yeah, I think so.
I think we need to run and then play action, because if we run it down their throats and they all of a sudden stop expecting Mahomes to throw the ball, that's when the defense can be in trouble, and that's when we can profit off that.
Mm-hmm.
But when we stay so pass happy, it makes it very difficult to then try to go back to running the ball, because it gives a tell to the defense right away what type of play you're running. So if they're expecting pass all the time, and the one time you try to run, they'll bust right through, because you've allowed yourself to play this kind of brace for impact type of performance. If you're like running and passing and mixing that up, then you're leaving the defense to guess. And it's better when you have the defense guessing what they're seeing, then you have a better likelihood of succeeding.
True.
So Zach Wilson showed himself to be an NFL quarterback when he feels like it. Well, he didn't feel like it any other game prior to this one. I'll disagree. He was good for 3 hours on Sunday, and no other proof of a game had he done anything remotely like that. So was it being on Sunday night and the bright lights, or have we seen a Zach Wilson awakening? He's going to play the Broncos next week. So if he murders them, that's at least, I guess, a sort of tell. Not really, because they're not
hard.
They're not a. Sorry, Denver. You're still trying to come up, but I would like to see the Jets play somebody else, because they played Buffalo and he looked as bad as Josh Allen did in their matchup, which the Bills lost to the Jets in week 1 and barely scored like 16 points. So the Jets defense is good.
Yeah.
They have guys. They have players all throughout. So sometimes you have to give it to, sometimes the defense just has a good player, or sometimes the quarterback makes a throw you can't defend. Like sometimes it just happens. You want to cast blame, but sometimes there isn't a blame to be cast.
Yeah, true.
So enough boring football talk. I know you want to talk about Taylor Swift, so the floor is yours.
I mean, she is a human being, but the NFL seems to really like that she is there and that she's like supporting the NFL. Really, she's bringing a lot of different publicity to the NFL, which has, like, if she wasn't there and if like she wasn't related to anything to do with them, they would not watch it at all. So I feel like it's pretty cool to see like the Swifties getting into football and saying, hey, what's this and what's this, and kind of just like asking about football, and like even like it's no dumb questions, like it's really cool to see that, because as like a fan, and I'm in the minority as a woman, being a woman fan of football, that's a minority. But it's cool to see like the minorities like come to like fruition and see that transition of like, oh yeah, football's not just for guys anymore. Football can be for anybody, and anyone can. I'm a girly girl. I like football, so
Right.
that's kind of my take on it. Is she's a human being, and I wouldn't like go out of my way to try and like buy tickets to see her, but people are doing that, and it's raising the NFL's publicity.
Which Taylor Swift is not the first sports fan.
So yeah,
female,
celebrity and female,
and she's not even like the first NFL fan, or like Melissa Etheridge is a fan of the Chiefs, and she's like, she does stuff throughout the kingdom, and she's like in the nerdy sphere, like we are. Paul Rudd, for crying out loud. Like, so what? There's famous people.
Yeah, there's famous people, and
I don't think famous people just naturally bring people to it, I guess. People are watching, like, if people are watching because of Taylor Swift, then I feel like they're missing the point to a degree, because here's like my question is, what do you have to say to those people who complain that Taylor Swift gets shown more than 20 times over the course of a game?
Yeah, that's very true. Like, I feel like they're overdoing it, definitely, with that, and showing her so many times. And like I said, she's human.
You could down a whole alcohol bottle if you did shots for every time they show Taylor Swift.
I don't know. And
so I'm fine with it, and I'm accepting of her, but I don't want her to be the story.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want her to be like,
she is a big story already, and it just seems strange that like a narrative's trying to be made that like she's making the NFL bigger, and I'm like, she's not like the only icon or whatever mogul, whatever big word you want to say for a famous person who's also rich. To be involved in sports.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, the NBA, I think, has it right. Their celebrities are literally courtside. They show them on screen. They show them on the Jumbotron. Hey, look, freaking Mark Wahlberg's here.
Yeah.
And then they play the rest of the game, and it's not like, hey, man, what's Mark Wahlberg doing on the sideline again?
Exactly, yeah.
Oh, man, Travis scored. Let's go look at his mom. You know, that wasn't even a trend. I think maybe... you think they'll do that now? If Taylor doesn't go to a game, because she's bound to not go to a Chiefs game this season, because she also has a job. She has a tour to go to. I think in November or whatever. So at some point, she's not even going to be in the same state, possibly.
Yeah.
So it's like the camera better care that Travis's mama is up there and pan to her every time. If
oh my gosh.
Taylor Swift every 5 seconds.
Yeah.
But I mean, we saw the Eagles game last week where she was sitting next to Jake from State Farm, and it's not like she was a focal point the whole game. They showed her once or twice, and that's it.
Yeah.
So why is Taylor Swift this like massive polarizing topic? And you've got some stats that you were going to share as well.
Yeah, I have interesting stats.
So you have that different audience, like you mentioned. So
more girly girl and more into Taylor Swift.
So that's not to say that some of them aren't also from Kansas City region, or that they don't like football, or a combination of the two. But just to say that you could have more of a chance to hit somebody that is not directly attached or whatever to Kansas City fandom in general. Yeah. So tell us what your findings were.
Yep. So I asked on Twitter and Instagram. So my sentence was, which of these people had you heard of before the whole Chiefs, Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce thing happened? And I put Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, both or neither. And on Twitter, I got 54% both. out of 35 votes, and Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes tied at 11% on Twitter.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And then neither
was 23%. So like over half said both, and then a little bit, like a quarter said like 20.
Yeah. So a quarter of
Neither.
people said they didn't know who either one was.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other quarter of people, half of them knew who Mahomes was, and the other half knew who Kelce was.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's strange to me because I would have thought Mahomes and Kelce are almost linked in a lot of people's minds.
Yeah.
So
same.
I get it that they're not like in the same commercials, but I get, hey, that's why we do this data. It wasn't faked. I'm not like, yo, go here and you vote this time.
Mm-hmm.
So you've heard it, that it seems like if people are going to know, they're going to know both of them.
Mm-hmm.
And
then on Instagram, I got Patrick Mahomes was the 63%, and then Travis Kelce only was 2%.
So more people knew
people
who Patrick Mahomes was, or both, than knowing who Travis Kelce was.
Correct.
Solo.
Yep.
Which
Correct.
is such a like, that is a complete opposite effect of what you've heard in society and stuff. It's like, oh my God, just blowing up his popularity.
Yeah, and his
stuff
jersey
like that.
sales.
It's like it's still a slow process. It clearly isn't like, oh man, somebody in another country who doesn't even know what football is now knows the name.
Yeah, it's not like a virality like that, but
do you think it could be on that verge, or do you think this is like a shooting star? Like, oh, we're just enjoying the attention that a pop star is giving to us, and we'll take whatever attention.
I think that's kind of what it is. Like, Kansas City has grown so much, and like I said in the beginning, knowing that Taylor Swift was here in Kansas City to watch a Chiefs game, that's like insane. Like, if you would have said that 10 years ago, nobody would have believed you.
Oh my God, but Beyonce was just in Arrowhead on Sunday when the Chiefs weren't.
Well, exactly. She was playing a concert, but she was sitting there watching an NFL game, like, and she was into it and stuff like that. So I don't know. I think it's interesting to see people's reactions to it and see, like, because she became like a big meme. Like, it wasn't even like her and Travis walking out. It was her reacting to the NFL game. That's what became
LFG.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or sitting with his mom.
Yeah.
Or then just this Sunday sitting with all her actor and actress friends in New York.
Yep.
I mean, I'm fine with her.
Yeah, I don't care. But
I just don't want it to be a weird cloud over everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
well, yeah, I think it might be distracting too.
It might be, but if they are distracted, that gives them no excuse. So that's why
that's very true.
That's why I'm not giving
they don't have an excuse.
That's why I'm not giving it a thought that's what's going on.
Yeah.
Because Andy Reid would stop a distraction if it was ruining his football team.
True.
Pure and simple.
That's true.
So if he saw this as an issue, he would call, because that's how this all began, is Andy Reid knew the Swifts.
Yep.
Back in Philadelphia, where Taylor is originally from.
He knew their family.
So he could have just been like, Taylor, you need to stay away. You're messing with my team right now.
Yeah, don't come to NFL games.
So if it was a problem, or if Andy saw it as something, then he would speak up.
Yeah.
And if Andy hasn't said anything, then it's not a big deal.
True.
That's my thing. Because Andy Reid, he's a player's coach, and he's going to give a lot of slack and be forgiving, but he's also tough. He's going to make sure that you're doing your job and you're not slacking. You're not cheating yourself. So I'm not even considering distraction as a problem. I think it's literally these players are not playing up to their part.
Yeah, I think so.
And they just need to wake up or put other players on the field who can do that same work. Okay, well, we're done mentioning Taylor Swift for the rest of this show and for the algorithm's sake, but thank goodness we got that in. Trying to view farm or whatever you want to call it.
I think that's what it is too. Like people are just trying to capitalize off of somebody who's already like being famous. So
at least we actually mentioned her versus just like, oh, she's a Chief. Throw her in with every other name of a player on the team. All right. So all that being said, there's been 4 weeks of football in the books. Technically, we have a half week or one more game before it's officially a quarter because of 17 games. But the old adage was 16 games, four games each. You divide the season into 4 quarters. The first quarter is over. The Chiefs finished the first quarter 3-1. Their only loss coming in week 1 by one singular point, where you take some plays off the board and add some players back on the field. Who knows what that outcome looks like? But all that with some iffy offense and some like really firecrackery defense. So let's just start with the defense. If you were to give the defense a letter grade for the first quarter of football, what would you give them?
I'd say B+.
B+?
Yeah. I was almost gonna say A, but I'm like,
So something's keeping you from an A?
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay, so what are the high points that's giving it? What are the things that are giving it high points for you, and then what is giving it your cause for you to strike something down?
Well, when they get run on is when like sometimes the guys can get through, and I feel like they could do better at like getting there when they're running.
So you think their run defense is
their
not
run
very
defense?
good?
Yeah, it needs a little bit more work, I think.
Okay, and everything else is good about them.
Well, Chris Jones is good. I feel like they're like tackling. Yeah, their tackling's good.
It's been better this year than recent years. I will agree with there. It would be like, why does it take 4 guys to tackle it? It seems like there's not a guy on this team that you are afraid of making a tackle, like one-on-one, if he doesn't do it. Or something. You feel like pretty good. Like maybe you're scared, but like not like, oh geez, this is not going to end well.
Yeah.
Right away.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I would give them. I think I'd give them an A-. I think they've done like better than a lot of people would have expected, especially before Chris Jones was officially back. But that D-line looks scary. They look like they can at least break through almost every offensive line. The Jets, blocked their tail off to only allow 2 sacks that whole game. I don't think Minnesota has as good of a line right now to protect. So I think they'll get a couple extra this coming game. The linebackers are kind of my sort of concern. I think they can only do so much, but the linebacker is the position on defense that allows you to get exposed the most. And the Chiefs have been exposed with their linebackers in past years before. So I think if I see like continuous positive performance out of them, I'll feel better.
Yeah.
Overall, and same for the secondary. I think Snead and McDuffie are lockdown corners, and I would keep them here for as long as possible. The safeties have their ups and downs. Just trying to get a feel for it. Justin Reed's is the second year. Brian Cook's a rookie. First year actually starting. Brian Cook actually made that tackle on the running back in the game on Sunday, and the Jets punt on that drive. So if he does not make that tackle, the Jets score that touchdown, and they go up 27-20. where the Chiefs have to get a touchdown instead of like field goal and then sitting on the ball.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to see a little bit more, I guess, confident play out of those groups. But overall, they've exceeded my expectation. The defensive line looks as good as before and shut a lot of people up saying that they need to bring in additional players to feel good about the rotation. I think everyone's completely fine with who they have. And we'll get my offensive rating and then go to yours. I think mine right now is a C, and I would say a B plus if they would just stick with running the ball for the next couple of weeks while they figure out all their good plays with their receivers, because I don't feel like they have the players they need to just run any play they want.
Yeah.
They have guys who can run certain kind of plays.
Mm-hmm.
They don't just have guy who's going to play this position and whatever play I call, he's staying there and playing that and running it. So it's like, if we're going to have all these guys in certain roles, then I'd like the play calls to reiterate that versus like Justin Watson and MVS on the sidelines not getting targeted all game.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see something different. I want to see Andy Reid make adjustments that say I'm not happy with all I'm seeing right now because I'm not producing the 40 points every single game that we've almost set as our standard.
Yep.
So what's your offensive ranking?
C plus was mine. So pretty much the same thing. I feel like they could do so much better, and they need to connect, and they need to, like you said, find those people that can do.
Travis needs to feel a little healthier.
Mm-hmm.
The weapons need to get more chemistry with Mahomes, which is hilarious because the receiver who has the most receptions and chemistry with Mahomes is Rashee Rice, and he's a literal rookie.
Yep.
Mostly everybody else on the team has been at least on this team for more than the year, and at least has been able to speak to Patrick Mahomes, let alone play with him on the field at the same time.
Yeah.
So the fact that he has the most chemistry with Mahomes and like Mahomes trusts him this early, he's going to be our main guy. It's just he's already got drops in every single game.
Yeah.
So he's a rookie. He gets a little more slack than I'd say I'm even giving Sky Moore and MVS and people like them right now because they've been on the team already. So we feel like they should know better and perform better. But all that being said, let's end on a good note. Who is your offensive and defensive most valuable player?
Oh, man. Well, I know everyone's going to want me to say Travis Kelce's the most valuable player because he basically is, but I feel like Rashee Rice is going to be a very valuable player.
Okay.
So he's like, I feel like going to be like neck and neck with Travis Kelce, not like in like stats, but like how he plays.
Calling your shot.
Yeah.
He's shown like flashes. It's just whether he can do it.
He can do it consistently. He needs to like practice more.
My offensive is Isaiah Pacheco because he's shown to be the guy. I said this on the Chief and podcast recently that I think it should be Isaiah Pacheco centric offense. Throw him the ball more if that's give him more screens. Just run the ball with him. If things aren't working out, just give it to number 10 and expect good things to happen while you figure out what other passing plays you want you run over on.
Yeah.
And then who's your defensive MVP?
Chris Jones.
He's definitely on pace to get his sack total. He's been getting one every single game.
That's cool.
He's got a streak, like an active, the longest streak in the NFL for continuous games with a sack. So if he does it again, then he's continuing that streak of sack at least 1 sack every game.
Every game. That's cool.
I'm going to steal it from Dale, but I think either the Trent McDuffie or LeJerry Sneed. I'm trying to do a combination of the two. I'm going to cheat and pick both of them because I think the combination of both of them are really good.
Yeah.
And they might be the like duo that can stop a, tag team of really good wide receivers that, last year the Bengals would be the team that would scare us because, oh man, they've got these big wide receivers and they're fast, and our corners, can they keep up? Can they not get a penalty and stuff like that? So they've looked like very, very good this season so far. And, I'm not trying to jinx them, but I think that will continue. And we'll see about what the Chiefs decide to do with Snead after this season. I'd like to bring him back, but Trent's going to be here for several years as a rookie, and I think they'll keep him long-term for sure.
Yeah, he's good.
Okay, well, that's all we have for this episode. We're going to be back a lot sooner this time because we have a game this coming Sunday against the Minnesota Vikings, and then we have a quick turnaround with the Broncos on Thursday night football. So we will be back following that Broncos game. So we have those two games back-to-back to talk about, and then we'll see if we can get on a regular talk about the one game that occurred. Sometimes we don't want to come on here after a bad loss, like the Detroit game, or right away after a game that didn't perform all the best or didn't really have anything positive to say. Sometimes you just want to sit in your room and digest that instead of talk about it. But we'll try not to be negative, but that's why we're all here and being nerdy and talking this out. So any final thoughts to leave everybody with before we return?
Don't think too much about Taylor Swift. She's a human being. She eats, sleeps, poops, pees, everything. So just remember that.
All right, I will remember that. Sometimes we don't think that about Mahomes. But,
oh my gosh. I don't know. He's Superman. No.
All right, everybody, make sure to follow us and subscribe on all your platforms where you like to consume your sports content. Please leave us some feedback, a comment, a like, sharing us with somebody else, or reposting for somebody else to see our content. We appreciate you all very much for following us and keeping up to date with us and the Chiefs. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. And as always, go Chiefs.
Thanks for checking out this update straight from the heart of Chiefs Kingdom. We appreciate your passion, so please leave a like and follow us wherever you tune in from. See you next tailgate. Your trusted source for all things Chiefs. Red Kingdom Media.